Today, this is Tenzin Kelsang and you are at Paper Town. So in this video, we are going to talk about a young adult novel called They Both Dies at the End. It is written by Adam Silvera. So this book has two main protagonists, that is Matthew and Rufus, and they both dies at the end. True to the name of the books, this book contains lots of deaths, despairs, and it is going to make you cry, sad and more. But more than anything, it teaches us about the importance of a family, friends, love, of letting go, and it has the main message that says that we should live our life to the fullest. Now, before I touch upon the context of this book, let me tell you why I chose this book, right? So I have two main reasons for it. Number one, I love this book, and number two, it is because of the message that I received from my student. So my students, while he was playing his video game, came across a person who viewed non-binary genders and homosexuals in an inappropriate light. So I thought, interesting. So why not talk about the book written by a gay writer about a gay love stories, and afterwards I can share my thoughts on this topic for all those people who cares, right? Now, coming back to the story, we have Matthew, a shy and introvert and socially awkward teenage boy who spends most of his time at home. He only has a two person that he calls his own. Number one, his father, and number two, his only friend Lydia. Rufus, on another hand, is a handsome, very street smart, bisexual, and an orphan. He is staying in a foster care, and it is at the foster home where he meets his friends Malcolm, Takeo, and Amy. Together they are called the Plutos. This story happens in an alternate world, or should I say in future, where there is something called Death Cast. So Death Cast is basically a company that predicts your death, and then they calls you, hello, you're going to die, right? So they don't know how and they don't know when, but they are certain that whosoever receives these calls are going to die in next 24 hours or less. So Matthew received his call when he was at home. First he freaks out, but then he later decides to stay at home in his safe cocoons, only to regret all the lost opportunities. And then, in desperation, he downloads an app called a Last Friend app. Rufus receives his call when he and his friend Malcolm and Takeo was jumping over this guy named Pack. So Pack is a new boyfriend of his ex-girlfriend Amy. He acts chill, and he also decides to have his own funerals with his friends Plutos. But unfortunately, the funerals get interrupted by the police, as Pack has called the police on him. So the Rufus runs, and in desperate need of a company, he too downloads the Last Friend app. This Last Friend app, like a heavenly matchmakers, brings the Rufus and Matthews together. It is amazing how two completely different individuals gel so well together and ends up bringing the best in one another. Rufus helps Matthews in coming out of his shell, right? Coming out of his apartments, visiting his father's at hospital where he is in coma. Helps visit his friends for a final goodbye. He accompanies him to say a goodbye to his mothers at a graveyard. And the creepy thing happens. At a graveyard, right next to the grave of Matthew's mother, the grave diggers were actually digging a grave for Matthews while he was still alive. With respect to Rufus, Matthew helps Rufus in seeing the world in a more colorful ways, right? At the same time, he helps Rufus comes in terms with the death of his parents. He helps him face his fear or anxiousness for waters. So in a way, it's a very sweet, very innocent kind of relationships, wherein they both discovers one another's through visiting a different areas, playing many different stupid games like a gladiators or a travels and whatnot. So it's amazing and it's extremely beautiful how the relationship blossoms right in front of you amidst all the chaos. This book also have so many different characters, right? And you might first feel that all these characters are all scattered, but you'll see the beauty of this book, how all these characters are interconnected. So that's one very catchy thing that the writers did. Amazing plots and amazing interlocking or intermixing of all those characters. The character development was also very good, especially Rufus. I can't help but fell in love with Rufus, so much so that the Instagram link which was given in that book, I searched and I found the Rufus, and guess what, I followed him. This book, amidst all its depth, it celebrates life, it celebrates the family, friendship, and most of all, it celebrates the love of all kinds. So I really like it. So guys, I'm not going to spoil as to how they are going to die and why they are going to die. The fact that they are both going to die is hardly a suspense, right? The book itself says they both dies at the end, right? So for that suspense you have to read the book, and I'm sure that you will love it. Yeah, devastated, yes, but you will love it definitely. So go and give it a try. And also the beautiful thing is, a few moments before, Rufus was actually fighting for Amy's love, and in that same day he ends up falling in love for another boy, right? So it also shows how beautiful and how fragile and how unpredictable the love is. When you are in love, you are love, and love is love, and all the love of all the kinds deserve our respect. Now, with respect to my outlook and opinions on a non-binary genders and the sexuality of different kinds, I just would like to say that until and unless that person is interested in you or is trying to get inside you or get with you, their sexuality is none of your business. If you can't say something nice or something encouraging, then you should at least refrain from saying something hurtful or demeaning. That's the least you can do as a decent human being, right? On a personal note, I myself have dealt with quite a lot of those nasty comments. As a kid, I was quite girlish, and the fact that I was small and broad didn't help the cause. And also, I really did struggle with my sexuality, and I think it did have lots of negative effects on me. Now that I'm all grown up, I'm fairly confident, but I derive my confidence from the way I work, from the love that I get from my family, my students, right? So with regard to approaching or my self-esteem and approaching the opposite sex, I still find it hard, because as a kid I have been inflicted with constant naggings and constant derogatory remarks. So I think that we all as an individual should be responsible with the way we say or the way we speak or the word we speak, because it might have a long-term impact on someone else's life. That's all for today, and I hope you will go and give this book a try. I guarantee you will love it for sure. So if you like this video, please like, share and comments. That's all. Thank you.